Welcome. Today we're talking about scent control. Welcome back to the Archer's Annual, having our second episode here. I got Cory Martin with me today. We'll be talking about scent control. I got my squirrel tails here, so we'll keep track of how many squirrels I can...
See how the season's going?
Yeah, we'll see how many we can harvest over the year. Let's get started with dart talk. So yeah, like I said, the idea for dart talk, you throw a dart and get a question, and then we'll go from there. The yellow bullseye is $20, and the black bullseye is $50. So don't hit those because I don't feel like paying you.
I'm gonna try.
Let's see what you get.
All right.
19. What do we got for 19? All right, what caliber of rifle do you shoot?
I shoot a 30-06. Yeah, that's what I always had. I think I started out with the 243 right when I started, but pretty quickly went to a 30-06.
Did you have any reason behind that, or was that just kind of because that's what your dad bought you? Or?
Well, it's what my dad had. He shot a 30-06. That's probably the big reason. All around, I feel like for PA hunting, for the hunting I do, it's a pretty solid caliber.
It'll knock everything.
Yeah.
Down. And the thing with like a 30, I shoot a 30-06 too, and the 30-06 is great until you're shooting like long distances. My dad went out to Montana, and he was shooting his 30-06 at 300 yards and could hardly hit a piece of board like this.
Wow.
But he got a bar to 300 Win Mag, I believe. And he was putting like 3 or 4 in a group like that. So I was like, for PA, it works really good because you're not shooting more than maybe 150 yards at the max, unless you're shooting fields. But in the big woods, you're not really hunting. I mean, that 100 yards is what max, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Today we're talking scent control. So we got a couple questions here we're going to ask Cory because he's a fanatic, apparently.
Fanatic. I don't know about a fanatic.
You're more into scent control than I am.
Sure. I must be. When you first asked me, I was like, I don't know. I'm no expert, but I guess I do more than you do.
You're the expert that I know.
We'll see. The experts above me are gonna rip me apart, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. We're not claiming to be experts.
No.
We're just claiming to have fun. So
that's right.
So let's get into that a little bit. What is the goal for scent control, and why is it important to you?
The goal, shoot a big buck, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal. No, I mean, I guess the goal for me really is just to limit the amount of scent I'm taking into the field. I don't hunt huge properties, going to a lot of the same stands. I just feel the less scent I'm dragging in and out, even just after I leave the stand and deer come out through, just the less that scent I have floating around, I just feel, the better. It's just a piece of the puzzle just to improve my odds a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, there's short-term and long-term, like, advantages of limiting that. I mean, I don't know for you, like, did you ever have a time when you had a deer blow you? Like, you had a deer catch your scent and blow off, or?
I definitely have, but I really, just talking to other guys and comparing stories and stuff, I really feel like I haven't had that a ton. And over the last few years, I've really tried to better my stand setup so I can limit that. But I really, feel like I haven't had a ton of that. Okay. It's definitely happened.
Yeah,
but...
well, I mean, if you're doing scent control, then you shouldn't have that as much. Right. I mean, I had an instance last year where I think I forgot to spray down when I went out, and I was sitting kind of on the top of a hill, and it was just getting dark, and there was a 5-point that came. He was probably 25 yards from me, and as he walked in front of me down my downwind side, he stopped, looked right up at me. I was like, oh boy. But then he took back like to where he came from and doubled back at like 40 yards, but then the same thing, stopped, looked up at me, and then after that he took off. I was like I'm pretty sure this guy, he busted me on scent. And I never did anything more than spray down, like just spray down before you go in the woods with scent killer, and that was all I did. And I think I've had more instances where they've definitely blown me and I may have not even known it.
Yeah, I feel like with what I do, it helps mostly like when a deer is just directly downwind of you, I feel like I can get past some younger does and younger buck, not as mature deer. But then, yeah, last year I was hunting on the side of a mountain along a ridge, kind of a valley dropped off, and I was like 30 yards off the edge. I should have been, because my scent was blowing to the edge, and I'm not going to hunt that spot with that wind again. I should be on a tree right on the edge, which is, I picked out some spots for this year, but a buck came cruising down. I had some like doe asterisks right in the rut, about 20 yards ahead of me. He was just over the edge, came down through, and it seemed like he hit that because then he turned directly on an angle, but then he angled right up towards me. He came right over the edge, right in line with me, and he stopped for about 2 seconds and sniffed, and he didn't blow. He just kind of turned and trotted off the other way. I mean, he didn't like something. So yeah, I don't feel my goal is to be invisible to deer, because from my experience, that's not possible.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, I can't say that you're able to do that.
Yeah. But. So let's walk through, like, let's go to some of the basics. So what produces scent when I'm going out into the field?
I mean, sweat for sure. I mean, you're breathing all the time. That there's not much you can do about it. I have heard of like some scent-free gum or stuff. I'm not getting into that. I don't even know if that does anything, but yeah, I mean, you're always breathing. Sweating definitely be a large part of it. I mean, we're always putting off odor. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of, that's your scent. So let's talk about how your scent moves in a way so that guys can kind of understand what how they need to do their setup. So how does scent move? Like, I guess with the wind, it's pretty self-explanatory. Can you explain how thermals work a little bit? Because I know for me, I never really understood how that worked. Super great.
Yeah, that, again, I'm pretty new to archery hunting. I've really tried to get more serious about it over the last couple of years, and that's something I've really tried to pay more attention to. Yeah, so basically, as the air is cooling, the thermals are dropping, pulling your scent down. As it's warming, once the sun starts coming up, the temperature, thermals really just go with the temperature. If you look hourly and see the temperature as it's rising, your scent and the thermals will be pulling that up. Yeah, and obviously with the wind, that can sometimes fight against it a little bit or
override it a little bit. Yeah, depending.
And yeah, so that's something to pay attention to for sure. And yeah, this year actually I'm gonna use milkweed a little bit, just because I'm just curious. I'm trying to learn. I just want to kind of see how that plays out. I mean, and just kind of see how that works really.
What is milkweed?
That it's just like it's just like white little fluffy stuff.
Okay. Because I have a plant out in my garden. I have no idea what it is, but it's light and fluffy, so I think I'm gonna use it.
I can't. It might work. I don't know if I could pick it out. I just know I've seen guys use it as scent, a wind indicator instead of powder or something, because you can watch it kind of float off.
I was thinking about doing that this year too, because there's a plant out there that has a bunch of little light fluffy flower things on it. I picked one off the other day and let it go, and it's kind of like I might have to use it. Yeah. Is there actually? Let's go to this question. Let's walk through your scent control game plan. So when you're getting ready, what are the steps that you're doing from day one? What's the first steps that you're doing all the way until you're going out into the woods?
Okay, so I guess the first thing would be a shower, scent-free shower. And a lot of this stuff I kind of figure like I'm gonna do anyway. Why not? I'm gonna take a shower. I need a shower. Why not do scent-free? So starts there. I wash all my clothing and scent-free stuff before the season, and if it gets nasty throughout the season, I'll wash it again. Trying to think, I keep it in a tote that's pretty airtight. I try to make it airtight. I pretty much always get dressed outside, because if I'm washing my clothes scent-free and stuff, I feel like putting it on in the cabin just goes against that. So. It's a little harder on those below 30-degree mornings. Yeah,
well, we were hunting last year together, and it was about 30 degrees. It was cold, and I'm sitting in there by the wood stove, and I was getting all warmed up and just about ready to get my stuff on. There goes Cory outside, and I was like, what is he doing? Like, I didn't know he was doing this, and he's like outside putting his stuff, and I was like, you're nuts. Like, you're nuts. But I didn't get a deer, and he didn't get one, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It didn't.
But then I did get blown. I think it was probably that day where I got blown. That other story I told, it was that same day.
And I had deer coming at me from both directions, and I didn't get blown. So, did it work?
All right. Well, he's got something on me.
Or maybe the thermals were working better than I thought for me. So that's something. Yeah.
So
Really
okay,
is.
so you're putting your clothing on outside
Yep.
to avoid any kind of interior scent.
Yeah, and I guess another benefit to that is too, especially if you're walking further into a spot. As nice as it is to walk out of the cabin feeling warm, if you're walking in, that's just gonna make you sweat quicker.
Right.
So I
Your
try to
clothing's warm then.
keep my layers down, and that helps to prevent some extra sweating.
Yeah, I never thought about that. But yeah, that's true. Like, especially when you have something fairly heavy on. I
Yeah.
mean, that's warm already, so. Whereas in your case, it would be cold. Interesting.
Right. Yeah, and then I pretty much always spray down any scent that got on. Yeah, especially with your boots. I mean, I've seen deer walk over my trail and stuff and not spook, so that just gives me that confidence that it's doing something.
Yeah.
I think, but
yeah, as long as they don't do anything, you're good then.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. They don't ever acknowledge that you're doing a good job, but.
right. I guess if they're not acknowledging it,
Yeah.
that's what you want. So, yeah, that's pretty much
Okay.
as far as scent control goes. That's pretty much what I do.
Once you get later into the year, once Pennsylvania archery season goes from October to the middle of November, and then the end of November, rifle season starts. Once you hit rifle season, how concerned are you about scent control? Is you doing the same steps, or do you lax it up at all just because you have that longer range?
Right. I really do the same steps. I think I keep everything pretty much the same. One thing I didn't mention as far as scent control, most of my hunting gear is scent eliminating or whatever, and I can't really speak to how effective that is. You hear mixed opinions on that too, but so that'd be part of it. And yeah, I'm definitely not as concerned in rifle season, but I still do the same thing. I get dressed outside. I have my clothing washed. Usually take a shower.
That's the process, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just stick to that. Have that routine throughout the whole year. I just kind of keep it going into rifle season. As far as is it necessary, I can't really tell you one way or the other. Would it have hurt my chances of getting a buck and rifle or any deer really?
That's hard to say.
It's so hard to say.
Hard to say. Yeah.
It's so hard to know. Last year I shot a buck I was like halfway down a mountain, and it came from the bottom. The thermals would have still been dropping. It was shot up before 7:30, I think. So the air was still cool, still dropping, and he came from that direction. So did it help? I have no idea. You can't really know unless you played out the exact same scenario, sitting there.
Yeah, you need a parallel universe, right?
Yeah. It's so hard to say.
Yeah.
But I do keep that. I keep that same routine.
Okay. Yep. Have you ever hunted with like ozone or anything like that?
I have not. Yeah, guys that use it, it's the best thing. But I have no experience with that.
I've never done anything with it either. It's expensive to get them generators like that, especially their new ones, like the one that I think Ozonics come down with a new one. They're be pretty cool. I mean, it's a good idea. I've never used one either. I'd like to talk to somebody that has used one just to see what they're.
Right. Again, there you get mixed opinions. I looked at it, but I couldn't justify saying
it. Are there any little like tips or tricks that you can think of when it comes to like scent control? Just little different things that kind of fit outside of the normal box of anything that you do special, anything like that?
Outside of the normal, not really. I mean, I don't feel like I do anything crazy. I feel like I'm kind of somewhere in between not doing anything and guys that take it to the max.
The next level,
No, and I feel that stand location and setting up to play the wind and the thermals, you can't beat that. That's really your best way to go about it. But then I don't have the perfect property where I can have the perfect exit and entry routes where you can get in where deer aren't going to be or smelling you or crossing your path. That's so hard. That's pretty hard to do.
Especially in PA, because I mean, there is some bigger tracts of land up north of other, but a lot of stuff that we're hunting is maybe 100 acres, and it's like a lot. I mean, we hunt on about 35 acres, and they're state games, so that's a lot of it's smaller tracts of land or farms locally that we hunt. So it's really hard to get them perfect setups sometimes. But what do you do? I want to be hunting, so
exactly. We got to get out there when we can.
That's right.
Don't take a ruckcation as much as I'd like to, but kind of have to go when I am able to. The winds aren't always perfect, and so yeah, I just feel it kind of can help with that. But yeah, as far as anything special, yeah, outside of that process that I do, I don't really have anything.
So are you doing, you said you wash your clothing, you're taking a shower, scent-free. Are you brushing your teeth with the scent-free stuff too?
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
No.
You can improve this year.
I don't even know if I typically brush my teeth before I go out, and like I always have something minty, so maybe I just skip that.
Maybe trim acorns next time.
Maybe. I've heard of crazy stuff, guys doing stuff, but no, I'm not taking it to that extreme.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's all we have for today. I got a Bible verse yet. Genesis 1:26 and 27. Then God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that he may rule over the fish of the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. That verse there stuck out to me the other week when I was getting this together. It was kind of interesting just to know that God created all the animals and us as well. And as we think about that, it's pretty humbling sometimes. It's like, if you don't stop and think about it, it's very easy to just get caught up in busy schedules and not remember that we're created in the image of God, and that is awesome when you think about it. That's everything we got for today. We'll catch you next time.